Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Mind Movements Martial Motion here at 9 o'clock on a Wednesday morning for a bit of midweek motivation. So what we're going to do is, as we always do, we're going to just allow ourselves time to set up parameters, okay, about 6 to 10 square feet of space, and a mat, yoga mat or any other is fine, water, and from there we're going pretty minimalist, okay? I suppose regardless of, or should I say, in light of whatever your surface is on your floor, we're going to wear either socks or we can go barefoot, okay? Just your choice as per the slickness of the surface of your floor, okay? But we're going to start our basic warm-up here on the tops and bottoms of the mats, placing our feet, tops of our feet to the mat, and just resting our hips on top of our heels in a position we call Seiza. Placing my hand in my hand, postures upright. Here we close the eyes and just engage in a bit of breathing, consciously presencing ourselves. Spine is nice and tall, head is slightly tilted forward. I'm drawing air in through the nostrils and out through the mouth. Expanding the rib cage, allowing capacity for air to course through the lungs, and exhaling through the mouth. And being mindful of our posture, hips towards our heels, our posture is tall, facial muscles relaxed. So we get a deep in our breath. Really just presencing ourselves through our breathing. Any disturbances that may come in, be they audible within our ears, between our ears, maybe a car is passing by, you hear the bark of a dog, accepting that for what it is. Just let that moment pass and coming back to the presence through your breathing. Let's give ourselves a slight pause at the top and bottom of each breath. The top being the height of my inhalation. In through the nose, pause for about a half a second, and exhale with control. Through the mouth, and small pause. Inhale again. Here we begin to regulate our breathing. Just normal breathing, however that may occur to us. We begin to draw ourselves back into the space that surrounds us, through our hearing, and ultimately through our vision. Begin to slowly open your eyes. Just taking the space around us. Here we're going to shift our weight from our feet. Allow the blood to flow, the oxygen to flow into the lower extremities. Walk ourselves onto our hands, to our tabletop position, hands just beneath the shoulders, and my knees are just beneath my hips. Okay. From here, we're going to go into our cat-cows. So here, we're drawing my chin in towards my chest, all the while exhaling, blowing my spine up towards the sky, rotating my hips back. And inhale, belly lowers, head rises, keep the arms straight. Fill the air with lungs. And again, Go into our cat. Exhale.
Core is engaged, pushing through the scapula, through the shoulder blades, through the spine, up toward the sky.
And inhale up. Inhale, cow.
Exhale, cat.
You begin to pick up the pace a bit.
As for our mobility, any tightness in the areas that are engaged, take it a bit slower. Constantly keeping the base of the palms to the ground, fingers straight and evenly splayed.
Tops of the feet to the mat as well.
Here, I'm going to go ahead and turn our palms 180 degrees. So I lead with my middle finger facing straight ahead. From here, I'm going to rotate my wrist, externally rotate at my shoulder, turn, leading with my middle finger facing straight back. Leaving a line that meets the base of my palms. Okay, so this show here, right? It should look more so here than here. Okay, so just making sure that horizon is met evenly on the base of each palm. Just resting here, allowing the wrist to open up, keeping your arm straight, and I turn it back. From here, we're going to go to the right side, raise, turn. Middle finger is my guide, pointing straight back. Met the base of the palms with a horizontal line. Keeping your arm straight. Just maybe I put just a little pressure on it first. Just to test the range, my wrist mobility. And I turn. Okay, we keep alternating. So we're going to inhale as we rise. Turn and exhale lower. Inhale up and exhale lower as I turn to the other side. Now the right. Inhale up, turn, exhale lower. All the while keeping base into the tops of my feet, into the mat. Inhale up and turn back forward to the right. Exhale down. You're going to pick up the pace. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, turn, exhale down. And time. Bringing my hands back to our neutral state, fingers facing straight ahead. I'm going to bring my knees wide, put my feet together. As I sit back, hips towards my heels, and begin to walk my fingers forward in my child's pose. In my fingertips reaching further ahead, drawing my hips back. Elongating the spine, allowing more capacity for air to reach the lungs. Nice. Now from here, I want to dive through from a chaturanga into an up dog. So here, keep my gaze downward towards the mat as I lift my hips from my heels, still pressing the tops of my feet to the mat. Elbows just barely grazing the ground, diving through. My head rises up. Tops of my feet stay to the mat. Shoulders are back, and my gaze is now forward. Palms pressed evenly into the ground.
as well as the tops of my feet. From here, we push back
to our down dog. One foot flips, the other foot flips on to the balls of the feet. Heels lower, slight bend in both knees. Head in between my arms, which are in line with my spine. Here, I want to raise each heel individually and lower individually. Left, right, left, right. Really engaged my back muscles here, wrapping my lats around my heart, armpits around the hearts. I gaze back towards my feet. Now from here, I'm going to dive from my down dog through to my up dog. Again, I'm just barely touching the ground, if at all. And at my lowest point in my chaturanga, I'm bring tops of my feet again to the mat. 1, 2.
Shoulders are back, my gaze is forward.
Exhale.
And back to down dog.
Inhale. My gaze is down towards the ground as I flip my feet. 1, 2 to the balls of my feet. Now my gaze is back at my feet as my heels lower. Slight bend in both knees. Again, wrapping armpits around the heart. And again, pedal feet, heel up, heel down, alternating left and right, keeping your arms straight. Now from here, my gaze is forward. I'm going to bend my knees even further, looking forward at a point between and ahead of both of my hands, evenly based into each palm. I'm going to load and count of 3. I hop into a low squat. Okay, you can watch first. 1, and 2, and 3. Any version of that we require is our version. Therefore, great. So here, we're all going to go together again. Okay, so my gaze straight ahead of my hands, centered, triangulated with my vision straight ahead. My hands, 1, 2, jumping with both legs and landing my feet just outside my hands. Lowering down to my deep squat, pressing my palms together, elbows in between my thighs, possibly even my shoulders. Drop my hips down to the lowest point, base all 4 corners of the foot. Spine is upright, head slightly tilted upwards. So I'm going to turn towards you. So here, as I press my palms together, my spine a bit more erect. So now from here, I'm going to raise up into my sumo squat. I'm going to draw my hips to the same height as my knees. Keep my elbows plugged into my inner thigh to my knee. Walk my feet wider. Begin to shift away from left to right. Try to keep my heel on the ground, both sides. So I shift towards each side. Checking into my breathing as well. Breathing freely. Also breathing mobility into wherever I feel tightness. Maybe the Achilles is a bit tight here. We get to stretch the Achilles as well as the calf. Trying to keep engaged in the thigh. Excellent. And now from here, I'm going to go down to my right side first. I'm going to raise my right heel off the ground. As I lower my hip down towards my heel, straighten my left leg, and externally rotate my hip with my toes facing up, and my foot is flexed. Okay, still engaging my thigh. I stretch along the hamstring, keep my posture as upright as I can. I can bring my hands around for balance. I can test my balance by bringing my hands up. And here we switch. I can trace along the ground, right? Or more challenge.
I can raise my hips up and just shift my weight from one leg to the other. This time left heel leaves the ground and comes towards the hips. Posture's upright, right leg is straight. Toes are pointed straight up towards the sky as my foot is flexed. In, hands on the ground or off the ground, testing my base and balance. Again, keep my thigh engaged so as to not hyperextend my knee down towards the ground. And we switch again. Shifting from one leg to the other. Heel again leaves the ground on the leg side. Turning, internally rotating. Foot is still flexed. Inner foot to the ground, posture upright. Breathing in to what's being stretched. To what's being opened up in my hip, outer hip. Adductors, keep posture as upright as you can. And again, we switch. The opposite side. Again, no hands if we can. Foot is still flexed. Internally rotate the hip. Keep that posture as upright as you can. Again, breathe into any tightness, any immobility, perhaps even any discomforts. Also distinguishing between what a discomfort means and what a pain means. Okay, if there's a pain, we'll come out of the move and proceed forward as we see fit. Okay, and from here, we're going to turn to my right side and turn both my toes with my right as well. So keep my hands in between both legs. I want to raise my shoulders up and up. Draw my hips down towards the ground. Head is up, hips are down. Trying to keep my back leg as straight as I can. Not drawing my knee down, but really trying to draw the hip individually down. Again, we all have our own range, so we want to this completely judgment-free. Right? Our version is exactly that, where we are present. Now, from here, I want to raise my right hand off the ground and turn and point straight up towards the sky to the point where my shoulders are stacked. My fingers are pointing straight up towards the sky. Straight, straight, straight up. Exhale into the twist. One last breath. I draw that hand back to the ground. And I switch, walking my hands from right to left. Making sure there's lateral space between the feet, not one foot behind another. Both arms are in between my leg, hips up, my hips are going down towards the ground. Resisting the urge to draw the knee down towards the ground, keep the leg straight, really engage the hips coming forward and down. Now this time I raise my left hand off the ground, point straight up, twisting my body. Shoulders are stacked, pointing straight up towards the sky. Exhale. Twist it further. One more breath. And we come back down. From here, we're going to go ahead and rotate the face towards the center now. And we're going to test the range of our splits. Okay, so from here, what I'll ask is keeping the heels based on the ground as best we can. I'm going to walk my hands ahead of my shoulders. 1, 2, and then I'm going to dive through. So drawing my chin into my chest, and I'm diving downwards at a 45-degree angle, and then rising up. Keeping my arms as close to my body as I can. Head rises up first, followed by the shoulders, chest, hips stay down nice and low, and notice my heel is still down on the ground, toes splayed a little bit further. Okay, now push back. Here I drop down just a bit to test the range of my splits. If it's too much strain, I have the option to dive again. A swan dive. Head rises up first, followed by the rest of the spinal column. Nice, we're going to do 2 more. We're pushing back. Testing the range of your split and then diving through. Inhale back. And exhale. Diving through. And now from here, I'm going to push back into my splits best I can. Walk my hands closer towards my center and walk them over towards my right. As I do so, I'm trying to bring my right hand behind. If I can't, you can be both hands in front, that's fine. Extend the fingers as well. I'm going to bring my right foot up. Foot is again flexed. My foot is also flexed to my left, but the inner foot stays down. I'm going to keep both legs straight. And from here, I carefully switch to the other side. Both my hands from my right to my left. Right comes down, left rises up. Again, we have the option of coming right in front. Again, if any pose is too much for us at any point, feel free here, just take a knee. Okay, my back leg, just come out if I need to. Okay, now we have that range. Okay, what we can do is begin to tip the fingers and heel toe. Engage in my core, raising my hips off the ground on heel toe, pivoting until I become to hips width apart. Here, I let the head and arms hang really heavy. And just ragdoll here, head really heavy. And I'm raising through the base of my spine first by rotating my hips back. Keeping my head and arms really heavy. Maybe even putting less weight in my heels, a little bit more in the balls of my feet. It's nice and heavy. Everyone remains standing. As you rise up, I'm coming down just to show what my hips are doing. Okay, so as I rise up, just begin to rotate back. One vertebrae at a time. Then I raise my arms up. Here we interlace the palms together. Okay, instead of facing down, we're facing up. My gaze forward, heads in between my arms, which are straight, and relax the arms down to the side. And that is time. Okay, here we're going to take a small water break. Back in 20 seconds. We're going to keep our yoga mats down in the meantime. All right, so when we return, what we're going to do is come to flat on our backs. And here, just getting some basics, of course, of our ground techniques through martial arts. Okay, so here what I want to do first is really try to make sure I engage safely with the ground. Okay, so we have our yoga mats, but that said, they're only covering just enough to keep ourselves safe. Okay, so we need to move very carefully. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place my hands onto the ground. And this here, right? Just literally this motion right here, me slapping my palms onto the ground. This is what we call our break ball. Okay, and this is me mitigating any impact as I potentially hit the ground. Okay, so making this conscious anytime I bring my back down towards the ground. Okay, same enough. As I lower down, I bring my chin to my chest so that I'm not getting any whiplash when I hit the ground. The impact mitigated through my palms and not my back or my neck or my head. Okay, so that being a simulation, of course, okay, will be a bit more of an extreme scenario. I'm going to lower my head down toward the ground, keep my chin to my chest while I do, and then we're going to go into our plow position. Okay, so my plow, I'm going to inhale, bringing my feet together, legs together, foot and release at any point. Then I rise up, inhale, raising just the legs up nice and straight. And then I exhale as my hips begin to come up. I press my palms into the ground, keeping my legs as straight as I can, and drawing my legs down towards my head, trying to bring my legs parallel to the ground. No pressure in the spine or the neck. I want to keep my sort of base on the fleshy part of my back. Okay? Just here,
Have my palms to the ground. And then from here, I lower down. That's the then from here, I lower the legs down. Okay, so from here, again, getting involved in our breathing. Inhale up. And exhale lower. No pressure on the neck. And again, I inhale up. But of course, my spine is coming down one vertebrae at a time. I'm using my hands here as a good base. And exhale lower. Inhale up. Exhale lower. Keep the legs straight. Engaging the stretch along the spine, as well as the lower back and the hamstrings. Inhale, lower, and exhale, lowering the legs. Inhale up. Exhale, lower. The cloud. Inhale, legs come up, back comes down, and exhale, lower. About 3 more. With control, exhale, lower. Inhale, back up. Exhale, lower. And last one, with the most care, really slow. Now from here, we're going to go to, that was our way of falling, and just simulated through a drill. Now we're going to go into our way of standing. All right, so here we have what we call our combat base. Our combat base, just through the ground, how keep myself in a good defensive position while being more engaged on the ground. Okay, so here I'm going to draw 1 foot behind 1 knee. Here facing forward, 1 foot behind 1 knee. As I draw 1 knee down towards the ground, the other one's pointing straight up. I want to engage really in my core, the board using my hands. Okay, for those that maybe this move is very new to them. Okay, no judgment. But put my hand to the ground. I can push myself into an upright position where my knee is met to the ground, and my foot 2 feet, and my knee are met at a triangulated base. Okay, so how far my lead foot is ahead. This really depends on how mobile I want to be in this position. All right, so position, I'm going down to the ground. Then from there, I'm going to switch. 1 foot behind 1 knee. Here, again, at the base, push myself up on the same side that my knee is down on the ground. Push myself to an upright position. Now lower back down. Okay, now the goal is to try and engage so much into the core that I don't need to create in my hands. So here, use a bit of momentum, and then coming down as softly as we can. Okay, here's my profile now. Keep my hands to my head, arms to my body. Switch. I like to inhale up and exhale lower. Switch. Inhale up and exhale lower. Switch. Inhale up and exhale lower. All the while, just trying to engage, try and check in on where my foot position is. So right if my foot's a little too close, it's just that much harder to get up. Okay, it's like 1 foot goes ahead of the other just to walk, right? Balance. Same here. Bring that foot ahead. Nice. As we continue to change, right? Feel free again to use the same side hand, which knees based on the ground, to rise up. And then if we do,
We'll make sure we get the top of the foot stretched as well as the back of the ankle for each move. Okay, so all the while, those keep their hands to their head, you can really engage in the core. So I meet the ground with potentially no impact. Switch. Noticing the difference between how we're meeting the earth now and how we met the earth previously. Okay, here I'm more engaged on my glutes, on the fleshy part of my body. We're in a foul position, maybe depending on how our anatomy is set, more so in the sacrum. Okay, so here, this is where this becomes our combat base. We're able to protect ourselves from a bit of a more comfortable position. Switch. And push back down. And time. Now what I want to do is engage, incorporate both of those moves together. So in this case here, we're going to go back into our plow. Now, this is still going to start from our combat base, where I put behind the other foot and triangulated my best foot, and knee. Okay, now here again, I push away. Down towards the ground. I keep my exhalation continuous as I center my hips and break ball with the palms. Straighten my legs. From here, I'm going to go into my plow. Inhale up. And exhale lower. Now as I bring my back down towards the ground, I'm going to bring one foot behind one knee, okay, to come to the opposite side. So I had my right knee on the ground previously. I'm going to go to my left. Left foot behind my right knee. As I lower down one vertebrae at a time. Inhale, rising up. Hands come off the ground, into my head. And then from here, exhale again. Push away. Right into my glute, not the small of my back, break ball. Straighten the legs, center the hips. Again, I push off the ground. Inhale up. Exhale, lower. Try to keep my legs as straight as I can. No pressure on my neck, just on my shoulders, my mid back, and I switch. Right foot behind the left knee. Slight bend in my left leg as I roll forward. Get into my combat base. Push away. Keep that breath continuous as we hit the ground so we can empty the lungs and have a little safer landing. Inhale, back up. Opposite foot behind opposite knee. And exhale lower. All this done as slowly as we can. Inhale up, feet together. Then we point in the foot. And switch. Right behind left. Hands to the head as I come to my upright position. Exhaling, lower. Keep the legs as straight as you can. No pressure on the neck. Switching sides. And time. So now from here, we're going to switch into how we actually stand up in this position now. The beginning of our standing base, okay, a bit different than our combat base. Throwing my foot behind my knee, okay, as I rise up. But from here, I'm also leaning towards
side that I'm bringing the knee down towards the ground. So in this case, I'm bringing my right foot behind my left knee, and then bringing my right knee down to the ground. I'm also going to lean on to my right side. So my right elbow is base. Coming to an upright position a bit sooner. From there, keeping my left hand to my head, my face onto my right hand. The place in place where my elbow is. Okay. So, elbow, shoulder in line. Shoulder, elbow, wrist in line. Here for my standing base, I raise my hips off the ground, base on my right hand. And my left foot, I raise my hips up, kick forward, and extend. Keeping my vision on where I just hit. So safely rise, turning my hips down towards the ground, throwing my leg back, and to an upright position. Okay. Now from here, I'm going to go back the same way. Bending my legs, hand to the ground, hand to my head as well. My opposite side, I kick through, and come back down to that position. Okay. So from here, we're going to do a drill. Just come in standing. Okay. So first, my standing base, I keep the head, and I rise up. From here, I'm going to switch. Hands back to my head. I lower down and what? My legs. Not using my back. And lift our legs. So lower down, my posture as far as I can. Keeping my vision a bit more broad. Lower down, opposite hand. And I kick through the same side foot. Straight across with my left to my right. Hand to my head. As I draw my leg back, I extend the arm forward, turning my hips down again towards the ground, and again coming to an upright position while I look in the direction which I was reaching. Okay? I switch both hands up, lower the legs, post, kick through. Inhale, back up. Be sure to extend the hand in the direction which I kicked. Switch. Now here, we keep going in that same direction, keep continuing the drill. I'm just going to show where our mechanics are going to keep us. Toe and heel facing east and west. Okay, go from there, draw my hips back as I reach my arm forward to maintain the same distance from my target that I did previously. Okay, keeping legs wide, down, kick through, exhale, inhale back. Exhale, raise. Inhale, lower back down. One hand to the head. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, rise. Just a few more. We're going slowly as we can. Make sure we get excuse me, the purity of the move. We're not rushing through, creating further imbalances. Hands are back up, lowering down. Place the hand, flip 3-point base, 2-point base as I kick through. Hands are up, lowering down. In legs, inhale, exhale. Again, finding ourselves through our discomforts, our challenges, or perhaps even taking a rest if need be. Hands are up. One hand comes down at a time.
Kick through. Just a few more. And time. Okay, we're gonna let it grab some water. Let's go ahead and pull our yoga mats up and we'll be back in 30 seconds. We have a space for it. Feel free to leave them down, go into that space. Okay, and those of us that are working with smaller parameters here, go ahead, unlike myself here, small space. So here I'm going to go ahead and angle my cameras upward. So we come into a bit of our standing techniques, okay? So I'm going to face you sideways first. See my posture as upright as I can. I want to twist, bring my feet sliding wider, then hips to the heart. And here I'm twisting, but trying to keep my hips facing straight ahead. Just engage my upper body as I rotate. That rotation is clear. It's in my spine. Twisting one direction, twisting the other. My arms continue through that centrifugal movement. Pressing the lungs, twisting. I exhale on the twist. I'm just feeling what this sensation means for myself personally. I made it a bit tighter than hips. Twisting. Find that inhalation, of course, in between my twists. Now, we'll allow the hips to move. Begin to deepen our twists. Feet stay firmly based to the ground. One arm comes behind, one arm in front. Give my shoulder a bit of a pat. And my lower back a small pat on the opposite arm. Small pat on the back, make it this far. Not even through the workout, through the week itself. Next, we're going to continue that motion as I adjust just a bit. It's showing here that now, as I twist, now I'm going to raise my heel off the ground. Get even deeper into my rotation, not just in my hips this time, not just my spine, but in my feet. Heel turns out and raises up. Nice, continue that motion as we go along. Now that twist in my arms is going to turn to an extension in my arms. So I extend east and west. Extending. Just extending here. Really extending east and west. West with my right and east with my left. And time. Now here, those are a bit more familiar. I've done the hard exercise before your martial motion here. I'm going to keep my hands to my head, back foot, my strong foot back 45 degrees. For my case, it's going to be my right. So my toes are going to point out 45 degrees, which indicated you can't see my feet, my knees point out at 45 degree angle on my right side, which is my strong side. Those who are left-handed, okay, we'll bring the left behind in a powerful position. So I'm really engaged with balance on both sides. Okay, so let's move to my right side. Bring my hands to my head, arms to my body. Yes, this here is my base here for when I'm in standing combat position. So here I'm drawing my left hand forward and my right hand forward as I draw my left hand back. Just do a few of these, right? Noticing how as I extend my arm, punching with my right side, my right heel rises. Why? Because it's behind. It's in a rear position. So in order to bring not only power through the ground, through the extremity which I'm striking with, I also have to turn my hips to be on the same level, if not further, so I have also the same extension of both arms. Okay? So as my heel rises, arms to equal, right? It's like what the camera may say. And then here, as the heel draws down, my shoulders come back, hips come back. So I'm back to that same balance space is still needed. Okay? Now, here, that's the concept we'll come back to. Now we're going to bring our feet back to neutral. Okay, slightly widen hips apart. Instead of extending just the arms right here, I'm going to draw a fist. Make sure my wrist is nice and straight. My fist is nice and square. Both hands again to my head and my arms to my body, and I twist. Punch this time. Okay? I notice here, my heel raises, so my heel turns more the more my heel raises, and I extend through the rotation in my body. Here you can go slower. Slower so you can really feel the sensation of the movement as a whole. Now my foot is base to the ground. All 5 toes meeting at the ball of my foot. Base to the ground. And pushing energy through the ground, the foot, leg, hip, core, shoulder, eventually the arm through the fist. Again, engaging my breathing now. I extend, twist, exhale, on my twists. Extending my shoulder forward, each one. I'm going to cross my body as best I can. Nice. As we keep going, I'll stop while we keep going. Keep my arms here, about an A-frame, where my hands are a bit closer towards my face. My elbows are just a little bit further apart. Okay? So here, I can protect the body, my arms, and protect my head with my hands. Okay? So we're going to put A here. And notice off to the side here, my arms are shaped pretty much like the letter B. Okay? So just having that contrast there. So protect my arms, protect my body with my arms, and also protect my head with my hands simultaneously. Right? So continue with the faster motions. Again, taking that inhalation in between each strike. Be mindful to keep a slight bend and both elbows are totally extending the arm out, hurting the elbow. And time. Now, here we're going to get into our legs just a bit more. So, what I want to do is keep both my hands in the same position. I'll turn to my side first. Then I want to step forward with my left. We can start from the same position that we just did, right? Our standing base. Okay, so our base from standing position. Okay, when I step with my left, pick with my right, I want to lower my right arm down so I can counterbalance and keep myself in the upright position for as long as I can without one leg. So I step with my left,
stay based on my left, raise my right up. Then I step back, step with my right, keep my left. And each way, depending on how slick the surface is and what material I have on my feet, right? I'm going to try and kick up a little bit more, maybe raising my heel off the ground each time. Keep my legs straight, begin to engage the hamstring in the back of the leg. Keep my posture as upright as I can. And again, exhaling as I rise up through the most assertive motion of the movement. Okay, I'm going to angle down towards my feet so you can see the weight up with each one. Let's slow down slowly. Step. 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 Raising the heel each time. Still being mindful of keeping the hands to the head and arm to the body. Just a few more. Arm goes down and arm comes back up. And time. Here, we'll go to my straight kicks. So, straight kick coming forward, otherwise known as a thrust kick or a park kick. Get something straight ahead. Draw my knee into my chest. I kick forward while leaning back. Okay, so my arm again comes down. My foot comes forward. Okay, I switch the opposite side. Right comes forward. Left. To the right. Go to the up. Spin forward. Notice my shoulders come back. Just to give my hips a bit more extension. With each kick. Raising up each one, pulling my heel off the ground. Now, here what I want to do is go straight ahead from a base position. So my feet are going to be neutral. I'm shifting my weight from one leg to the other. Knee comes up, inhale. And again, exhale as I thrust my feet through. I draw it back in with an inhalation and exhale. Lower. Inhale up. Exhale. Through. Inhale back. And exhale lower. Okay, all the while trying to make my breathing distinct for each particular move. Notice as I coordinate breathing with the movement, I'm also coordinating which side I counterbalance with. So my hands stay up, inhale up, exhale forward, drop the arm. Arm comes back up, inhale, throw my leg back in, and exhale, lower. My shoulders go back. The kick, come back again, forward as my leg retracts. Just a few more. Face towards you. Each time as I kick, keep going. Still kicking with that half point, right? If it was not a total point, then I'd be kicking my toes. That would be a bit injurious to myself. But I point my foot and I actively flex my toes back. So when I'm hitting with really the ball of the foot, which I pivot off of, when I throw my punch and kicks. Okay. And time. Okay, grab a sip of water. Put back 2 more yoga mats here.
Let's return to the position we started, our Seiza position. Cross my feet to the ground. Spine is nice and tall, hand in hand. Eyes closed. Hips left towards the heels. Just regulating the heart rate. Inhaling through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. Finding lightness in all of our feats, our challenges here, as well as out there. So here we take in the air, which vitrifies us, feeds us, and exhale, but no longer serves us. Breathing life into the present moment. All that it is we have. Signify it powerfully through our breath. Breathing power thoroughly throughout our bodies, our minds, and our spirit. Thank you again for joining me for Martial Motion. We meet again Saturday morning at 9 o'clock at new times. Your schedule, we will output. Right? Thank you again. Enjoy your week.